All right, welcome back, Ink Drinkers, for another bonus episode where we talk to you about some of our favorite cozy reads. As we are looking towards the end of summer and the beginning
Mhm.
of fall, everyone likes that cozy feeling. And we just wanted to share a few of our recs for mystery, sci-fi, and fantasy. So hopefully we hit everybody's favorite genres.
Hopefully. And I'll start us out. The teacher and me pulled my first cozy from kind of like that middle grade area.
Mhm.
Um, People probably are familiar with this one because of the movie that
Yes.
came out, The Wild Robot. Um, I absolutely adore this story. It follows Rosam Unit 7134, or Roz. She is a service robot that gets shipwrecked on this remote, uninhabited island.
Mm.
So it is nothing but creatures, animals. No humans are around. She finds herself completely alone with no memory of what her purpose is. So if you think
Mm.
about that, like being a robot, not knowing your
Mhm.
purpose, that can be quite terrifying. So she spends time observing the wildlife who are terrified of her, who wouldn't
Oh.
be. And she learns how to adapt and camouflage through them and accidentally ends up adopting an orphaned gosling. Now, she does kind
Oh.
of bring about the demise of the other eggs, but anyway, but she adopts Bright Bill and ends up raising him. And through raising him, she learns how to love and care for others and builds this really great
Oh.
community. So it is a great story to read to your students, to your children, and even me as an adult. Like I just enjoyed the story in general myself. It's cozy. It's got found family. It's got some really pretty illustrations throughout. She's first discovered by some cute little otters.
Oh.
But I really loved this book in general when I read it. So definitely recommend. I would say there's three of them, and he's also put out a picture book. The movie does pretty decent representation of this one, but this is my favorite of all of the books in the series.
I am going to start us out with a cozy mystery, The Maid by Nina Prose. We follow Molly Gray, and she is a maid at the Regency Grand Hotel. She is a little bit of an odd duck. She has some struggles with social
Mhm.
interaction, but she is great at her job.
Mhm.
And she is cleaning one day, and a very famous guest, one that she has served before, she is cleaning his suite and finds him dead in his bed. And because of her odd behavior, the police suspect her almost immediately. And so her and some friends she didn't realize she had in the hotel are kind of racing against the clock to figure out what happened and to clear Molly's name. I absolutely adored this book. There are 4 of them now. Um, one of them being a Christmas
Mhm.
themed novella, and she is just a fantastic character.
Mhm.
Kind of she kind of feels like Amelia Bedelia to
A
me
little bit,
a little
yeah.
bit, but it has found family. The mystery is great, and the relationships that she has with all of the characters and her relationships, because there are some flashbacks of her growing up with
Mhm.
her Graham, that really just give you that cozy feeling. And I would highly recommend all of the ones that I've read. I have not read the newest one, the yellow one,
Mhm, yeah.
but the other 3 are absolutely fantastic. If you love a cozy mystery with an unusual main character, I would pick this up.
My next one's also a mystery. One of my favorite authors, Janice Hallett. She wrote The Appeal, among others. Some of them will connect to The Appeal. They always have appeal in them if they do. Other ones don't, but they're all
Mhm.
written in kind of the same format, where you get like messaging and letters, emails, text
Right.
messages. So you get all those different formats. This one, you're kind of positioned as one of the two young lawyers that are commissioned to sift through the evidence of the murder of Sam Greenwood. He was an amateur actor from the Fairway Players Theatre Group, small town theater, amateur theater group in a UK village. And as I said, you have to sift through text messages, emails, letters written to each other, leading up to the trial to try to find out the truth behind the very many lies. Um, there's also another scheme going on within this one where the family that is putting the play was also doing a charity for a possible cure for this disease for their daughter that may not have been so truthful at the same time as this murder. So lots of things are happening. The audiobook for this is great because it's got a lot of different narrators throughout, even when you're in like the different text messages, like it is being read by the
Mhm.
multiple POVs at the same time. So it's a really fun read. There is a Christmas novella that follows this afterwards. It's not connected to the same murder, but a lot of the same characters pop up. And then her newest one coming out later this year comes back to these characters as well, which I'm
Mm.
really looking forward to. So if you love a mystery that's got, multiple formats, lots of different characters to kind of sift through, she'd be an author for you, but I would definitely say start here.
Agreed. All right. So my next one is a sci-fi. It's The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I absolutely love Becky Chambers in general. This is part of a series, but they're more episodic than they
Hmm.
are like all one storyline. And in this particular book, this first one, we follow Rosemary Harper, and she joins the crew of the Wayfarer. And she kind of has a little bit of a mysterious past. It
Hmm.
seems like she's running from. And she joins this crew as being integrated, and they are offered a once in a lifetime job to basically dig wormholes through space to this distant planet. And they take on this job, and you follow this crew. It's a very diverse crew. There are different types of beings that make up the crew, and even the ship's AI is
Hmm.
integrated as a member of this unlikely found family. And they kind of stop in different places and have different adventures along the way. This was really the first time I truly understood what a character driven novel was, because it feels like, yeah, there's a loose plot that they are digging these wormholes to this
Hmm.
planet, but for the most part, it's just getting to know the characters and seeing them go on different adventures and see different cultures and different types of beings throughout space. You have a wonderful found family. You do get to learn a little bit more about Rosemary, but the true heart of this book is their growing relationships with each other
Hmm.
and getting to know each of them. I absolutely love this. Ate it up. It's sci-fi, but I feel like really it's about relationships, and it's really cool how the different cultures are written and how the different beings and places that they stop are described. So if you love kind of almost a Star Trekky type
Hmm.
feel, this would be a great cozy for you.
I would also say that if there's any fans of Firefly out there, when I picked this book up, it reminded me very much of the crew from Firefly, and that's what made me love this one a little bit more. All right, my next one is kind of cozy fantasy romance.
Mm.
We've got Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Kara
Koreshi.
Qureshi. Where this book is set in like a very modern world, but people coexist with dragons. So,
Mm.
sign me up. We follow Saphira, who is a struggling cafe owner. And this cafe is struggling because it's a safe place for dragons. But
Mm.
being a safe place for baby dragons means that things are getting burnt a lot, including her very expensive espresso maker, which is what keeps her cafe open,
That's a problem.
which is a problem. So she ends up striking a deal with the local grumpy gardener, Aiden, to train his unruly baby dragon, Sparky, because he's not wanting to bond with Sparky because it was really his brother's dragon. There's a
Mm.
whole family trauma story there. But he is a little bit more well off than she is. So by
Mm.
training his baby dragon, she gets the financial needs that she needs to keep her cafe afloat at the same time. It is cute, it's cozy, it's grumpy sunshine, it's fantastical, it's dragons, it's coffee, it's everything that I love. I ate this one up. Um, I didn't love the sequel. It's episodic. It follows another character. It maybe I just read it too close to this one in general, but I absolutely adored the characters in this particular novel. So if you need just a cozy romance
With some dragons?
with some dragons, this is the one to check out.
Um, I actually have another one from Becky Chambers.
Haha.
I did mention that I loved her, but these are novellas. They are also sci-fi. This is A Psalm for the Wild Built. It also has a sequel. They're called the Monk and Robot series, and you can find copies where they are bound
Yes.
together in one book. But in this world, centuries ago, robots gained self awareness and
Hmm.
kind of left for the wilderness and abandoned humanity. And now there's this traveling tea monk, and he comes across this robot, this curious robot, who then asks, "What do people need?" And they go on an adventure
Hmm.
together to try to answer this question, and of course that answer is different for everybody, but
Hmm.
it's sweet to see how this tea monk, who that's his purpose is to like serve tea to people, and this curious robot, the adventures that they get into, they kind of have an unlikely friendship, but it's warm and
Hmm.
cozy, and it kind of asks existential questions about, humanity and what people need.
Hmm.
So if you are into like you need something quick, a
Hmm.
nice cozy palette cleanser, I am currently reading it. So things like this are nice to kind of slip in the middle, so I feel a little relief. This one might be good for you. Quick read, and there are two of them.
Right, going back a little bit to middle grade, we know
Mm.
my love for the Studio Ghibli world, but we have to go to the source material. Kiki's Delivery Service by Iko Kadono is about a 13-year-old witch, Kiki, who leaves home to fulfill the witch's tradition to establish herself as a witch in a town that doesn't have a resident witch. So she travels with her black cat, Gigi, to a seaside town, and she ends up setting up a flying delivery service with a local bakery. And this one's told through just small episodic adventures that she
Mm.
has through different deliveries. Not all of them are for the bakery itself, but she faces small challenges that teach her independence, friendship, and a little bit of self discovery. I fell in love with this story when I was much younger through the movie. And the book is a complete, well, the movie is a complete representation of this book. Like, um, they did a wonderful job taking every bit of its essence for the Studio Ghibli adaptation. I talk about Howl's Moving Castle with as much love as I do this one. So, another great read to add to the shelf.
I'm not sure exactly what I would categorize genre-wise, this
Mm,
next one. It's The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. Um, like, I guess there's some type of small mystery to it, so maybe
mhm,
you could classify it as that, or maybe it's just contemporary fiction. But we follow AJ Fikry. He's
mhm.
an older man who lives above his own bookstore. And recently, the mystery aspect is that his most prized possession, a very expensive old book of poetry, has been stolen, and something else has been left in its place that changes everything.
Yeah.
He finds a small child
Mhm,
alone in his store, and it is so warm, so cozy.
mhm.
He has to figure out how this child got here and what he's going to do. I think we've talked about this before in previous episodes. I love an older person who bonds with a child.
Mhm.
So we get that in this book, and he we just get to kind of see their relationship blossom and how she got to be there and moving forward how this changes his life.
Yeah.
um, it is so warm, so cozy. Don't get me wrong, there are elements, of grief and things like
Mhm.
that in this book, but just getting to see that type of relationship grow and the community come together is absolutely beautiful. So if you're not exactly, you know, looking for a particular genre and you're just looking for a good story
Yeah.
that is a cozy going into fall, I would highly recommend this one.
Yeah. I second that. That's one of my all-time favorite reads. All right, my next one is a
Mm.
cozy fantasy, The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. We are following a zookeeper in this one, but not just your typical zookeeper. We're talking like magical creatures, griffins and phoenixes, and all of those kind of mythical creatures. That's the world that we are set in here. She dreams of conserving the endangered species of the firebirds or the phoenixes. They're going extinct, and she wants to help by setting up a breeding program. But unfortunately, that it's been threatened. Um, by a poacher attack at a rival facility, and their zoo is potentially the last one that could possibly succeed at it. So she has to prove that her zoo can do this process safely. There's a whole lot of hoops that she's got to jump through, a bunch of regulations and whatnot that she needs to meet in time for the male phoenix to be delivered, for it to go through. And in order to do this, she has to team up with her college rival in order to succeed, Luciana, the Griffin Keeper. It is a beautiful story. There's small found family. It's a sapphic romance. There is definitely some nefarious things happening because the poachers are not far behind.
Mhm.
It was an excellent, fun, cozy read. And I definitely loved our main character in this one. There's a lot of growth that happens for her, especially within this book.
I agree. I read this one, I think, shortly after Mandy read it last fall. Um, it was absolutely fantastic. I loved the romance. I loved getting to see all the creatures. I feel like
Mhm.
S.A. McLean really dug into the creatures, and she
Mhm.
even talks about their habitats and what the keepers have to do to like even work with them. And I
Yeah,
think that intricacy really gave this like a cozy feeling, but also a really well developed feeling.
absolutely.
Um, my last two are my fantasies. My stack was not well mixed. But this one is one that I read earlier this year, Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife by Destin J. Munden. We follow Rotgore. Yes, that is his name. And he's an undead orc knight. He's been like protecting the kingdom for a really long time, and he's ready to retire. He's done with violence. He wants to settle down,
Mhm.
and he decides that he's going to um, open up a restaurant. This man is barely held together by dark magic, but he is ready to do this restaurant. And the community comes together to help make his dream come true.
Mm.
He's developing recipes and he's like renovating the space. Um, and they're helping him. And following with the book that I just talked about, there is an orphan little girl that helps
Mm.
out and they form a bond. But she has like a dubious past or lineage, and he realizes this. And so to help keep her safe and also continue his like new life of peace, he has to come together with the community and integrate and make a found family. So
Mm.
I absolutely love this. I listened to the audiobook. It's great. There are so many different elements. And again, it's that like grumpy old man who is, kind of opening up to this little girl who needs a home. So if that sounds up your alley, this is a great one.
All right, my last one, I believe we've talked about before, but I'm pulling it back out because I love this world. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. Um, in this one, Orc, we follow Viv, a battle weary orc who decides to retire. She trades in her sword for a new life in a new city, and opens up this city's first ever coffee shop. The problem is that no one in this city has ever heard of coffee, let alone tasted a latte. So getting people to come into the store itself for it to be a success is her biggest challenge. But she slowly starts winning over the locals, builds up her business, and creates quite a cute chosen family
Mhm.
with the people that help her become employees. There may be a little romance in this one as well. This one is followed episodically as well. There's Bookshops and Bone Dust, and then um,
Brigands and bread knives.
Brigands and Bread Knives as well, which I haven't gotten into that one yet, but I am excited to. I know you have. But these are just honestly, like, it's kind of nice to step out of, the regular world into just something that is just completely fantastical with some really amazing characters.
I agree. I have read all 3 of them, and I think there's actually a set of small or, short stories that's coming
Yes.
out later this year. They're they're just so warm, and, like, if you like D&D type of
Mhm.
things, the creatures and setting very much lends itself to that. We're both suckers for found family, so
Yes.
if you tell me it's got a found family in it, I'm probably gonna read it and love it.
Sign me up.
Um, I agree. Plus, it's also lattes,
Yep.
so that's also sign me up. And my last one, I think I have obvious, or I think I have previously talked about this. Either that, or maybe Mandy has. One of us has, but it's the Emily Wilde series. This is the first
Mhm.
one, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, where we follow Emily Wilde. You might have guessed, but she's an academic that studies fairies, and she's traveling to a town in the north to study the variety of fairies that live there and a specifically elusive
Mhm.
type of fairy called the hidden ones. And much like Molly from the previous book I talked about, Emily has issues with social interaction,
Mhm.
and so when she gets there, she kind of gets off on the wrong foot with the locals. But her and her dog Shadow pursue finding different fairies, and out of nowhere, her academic rival Wendell Bamblebee shows up, and everybody loves Wendell, but
Yes.
he's there and they start studying the fairies together. She's starting to unravel some secrets and lots of hijinks ensue. It is so warm and
Mhm.
cozy. They have great interactions and have a little bit of a found family with the townspeople. And there is maybe a little bit of romance thrown in there, but great with fairy lore as well. So if you want something that's cozy and does have a lot of fantastical elements that feel strong and well developed, this is also a really great series. I have read all three of them and
Mhm.
liked them all. I believe there's a fourth one coming out
Yes,
soon. I think it's Dark Fairy.
it is. Mhm.
Um, Emily Wilde's something with Dark Fairy.
Yeah.
And I will be gobbling that one up as soon as it comes out. But that is absolutely one of my favorites. I would always recommend this for cozy fantasy people that are trying to like just jump into it for the first time.
Yep. All right. Well, those are some of our recommendations. We probably could have gone on for a while. We kind of have in other episodes. If you've missed those, you can always go back and check those out. But let us know if we've got any in common or if you would add any to our lengthy TBRs because we are always here for a cozy rec.
And if you haven't tried cozy, we hope you join us for our next book, which is a cozy fantasy.
Yes.
It's The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst.
See you then.